Captain's log. The question of justice has concerned me greatly of late. And I say to any creature who may be listening, there can be no justice so long as laws are absolute. Even life itself is an exercise in exceptions.
Welcome to a special presentation of the Chad Duke Show and Fortress Film Society. Make it show.
That's a
dulcet tones.
He won't turn on the camera. He just won't do it. Oh, yeah, it's on. Yay! Welcome, everyone, to Make It Show. Thank you so much for being here today. I am your host, Shu. This is episode 3. Are we streaming, boys? Excellent. Glad to hear it. Today's a good one. Today we're going to cover 2 out of the 4 Star Trek The Next Generation movies, including Generations, the first one, and Nemesis, the last one. Gigantor is here, TNG superfan number 99, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1 on the field, number 2 in the ready room. Hello, Tor. How are you?
Good to be here. No, it's a thick one today.
It is a thick one. It's been a lot of Tor. He got irritated with me because I wanted something that should have been here.
Correct.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, this could go off the cliff quickly. Loud Goat is here. Hello, Goat.
Hello. It's good to be back on the bridge of the Fortress of Solid Dudes.
The good ship.
Yeah.
The good ship Grease.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, exactly. Hot Man Ted, by the way, beating cheeks to get here on time. Hello, Hot Man. How are you?
Hey, Chad, how you doing? I'm still a little bit out of breath, but I think it's okay. I'm just actually a little bit more worried that Tor is upset with me tonight.
He probably is. He had your microphone turned off there at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Are you all right, Tor? Why did you take his levels?
It's all we're good now.
Huh?
We should be good now.
All right.
He locked himself downstairs.
But what does that have to do with you taking his microphone levels and then?
I should have had it up more.
Okay. And there is King Dingaling is here as well. Handsome Matty Tubesticks. Hello, Dottie.
I wasn't going to drink this week, but I was on day 3, and every time I closed my eyes, I just saw blood raining down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I understand that. I wasn't either, and then, or at least tonight, and then there was so much, I don't want to, I think tension was the word.
Yeah, that feels just, maybe that's a little overstating it, but there was just a bit of angst.
Yeah. Tor kind of sets like when Tor's out of sorts, I think it kind of permeates, and then I felt that then Ted didn't know that we were doing the show, so I had to call him, and then Dotson yelled at me because I told him where to sign the posters. Then he said, no, I want to sign them in the same place. So it was just kind of strange. Now, Ted's mic sounds absolutely terrible, Tor, so what are we going to do?
I'm trying to tweak it here.
Tweak that bad boy.
Ted's volume level was a bit of a wild card pregame. So.
I understand that, but
yes.
But we I don't know. It's perfectly fine.
We'll get there.
We certainly will. Did we not have one of the short microphones last time he was here?
No, that's mine. It's at my house.
So we're not allowed to use that?
No, we definitely are. I didn't know Ted was coming tonight, so that was a mistake on my
Even though he's on the poster?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure. As long as it's not distracting for people that are listening.
Well, this will give Ted a chance to go out into our audience and ask questions Phil Donahue style.
I like
Ted
that.
on the street.
Let's take a look at our audience. Wow. Goodness gracious
So,
me.
X-Men Arcade Machine, what do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty rough over there. No big deal, though. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're discussing 2 feature-length films, including what I think most people thought of was a rather clunky changing of the guard between the original cast of Star Trek and The Next Generation, because there was 7 Star Trek movies.
I think 6.
6?
Yeah, this was the
Undiscovered
7th.
Country was the last one.
Okay, Undiscovered Country. I don't even know that I saw that one, but Worf is in that one, correct? Worf is in the very last Star Trek movie, and he's not the same Worf.
I think it's like technically his grandfather or something like that. Some
Really?
distant relative that's a lawyer. He's actually the lawyer representing Captain Kirk when he is on trial there.
It's actually the one Star Trek movie I haven't seen.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen, I don't think I saw the last 2.
I hear it's great, though. People love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I think in the footsteps of, what was it, Where No Man Is Good, the number 5.
Final Frontier.
Final Frontier. In the wake of Final Frontier, the bar was low.
Final Frontier is a bit of a doozy.
Yeah.
I think it's also why people love Wrath of Khan as much as they do, is that not only is it a great movie, but it's in the wake of that first Star Trek movie, which is the biggest pile of shit.
It's a snoozer. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the timetable, and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, came out in 1991, and then Generations came out in 94. Which is
3-year
crazy.
difference.
When you think about it, there's a 30-year difference, right? In between, well, 20-year difference in between when the original series was on and TNG came out. So the gap in between when they were done making those movies and when they started making up this cast's movies was much smaller.
Yeah, I think one of the things they said as the series was winding down, they were actually eyeing making movies as opposed to continuing the show. And I think it was, depending on what source you believe, the motivation was to get that instant recoup of box office receipts as opposed to advertising and the television revenue, which I think the stream is a little bit slower. And so they were excited about getting right out into theaters with big budget movies. And I guess they didn't trust the show that had been such a massive hit to just stand on its own legs for the first movie at least. And they had to, do some hot booking there.
I would say ultimately that was a mistake. None of the TNG movies, I think, are great. I enjoyed 3 out of 4 of them. I would say that I enjoyed, and I'd say not best of both worlds. First Contact, I think most people think is pretty damn good, but I don't know. There are epic, excellent, multiple episodes of the series, and especially when you watch season 7, which I have recently. It really is still in the pocket. Like, it's great. Like, there are fucking fantastic episodes in season 7 of that show. It kind of makes me wish, like, damn, I wish we hadn't sacrificed another season or 2 to start making these movies.
Just to get out into the cinema. Yeah.
Yeah. They never really... Do they ever explain the uniforms? Because when we get to... Because in Deep Space Nine, I believe they're still wearing both for the first season. And then when they get to Generations, they're going back and forth between wearing the uniforms we were accustomed to on the Next Generation and then the new V-neck,
the weird unzipped
gray
pullover
turtleneck. And then there's a third uniform where they're showing the rank on the sleeves too, which I've seen people wear. They never really explained what that was all about.
They never explained it. I did read something that said that they were just trying to go for whatever was cool at that time, whatever they thought would look different. It was never really something that they were trying to explain and have continuity about. And I think it was a bit of a mistake.
But that could be like, you get Shorty. That was kind of the era where people would wear the dress shirts with the collar that didn't have a collar that flipped over.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It looked like a tuxedo. Remember that back in the 20s and 30s, you'd have to put your collar on for your tuxedo.
Yes.
It looked like
I
that.
don't remember.
I very much remember that.
Of course,
actually.
Ted actually. That was Ted's setup when he went to fucking prom. I don't know. There's scenes. There's a scene where Geordi and Data are sitting around that bomb. What's his name? Ian McDaniel's.
Roddy McDowell.
Ronnie McDowell.
Roddy. Is it Malcolm?
McDowell.
Oh, God.
It definitely is
Malcolm
Roddy
McDowell, not Roddy
I get the
McDowell.
McDowells mixed
Who's
up.
Roddy McDowell?
That's Cornelius, isn't it?
Yeah. Roddy McDowell was in Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Jesus
The original,
Christ.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I would think that's even nerdier than what we're doing right now, but it seems incredibly. Now, Ian McDowell.
Yeah, Malcolm McDowell.
Who's Ian McDowell?
I have no fucking idea.
Is there a person named Ian McDowell?
You thinking of
Maybe
Ian
probably.
McDermott?
Could be. No fucking clue.
But in any case.
They're looking at his bomb, and Geordi is wearing the fucking thing that he wore in the television episode, and Data's wearing the new jobber, and they just never really explain it.
Yeah, I think the uniforms almost catch you off guard. They almost become distracting. And I think in the first set of the original series movies, they tweaked them a little bit, but it had also been X number of years since they've been on TV. You'd expect that things had moved on. Starfleet maybe had redesigned things. This was not too terribly long after the series had gone off the air, and you feel like a uniform redesign every couple of years seems a bit extravagant for an entire galaxy's worth of Starfleet members. And to have them mix and match like that is really kind of jarring.
Yeah, especially when you think about the military and you think about, like, if guys are out running on drills, like, having them all wear different shit would not be the case. But, clearly the Federation's different than that. All right, let's start with Generations. That came out in 1994. It was an hour and 58 minutes. It stars all the people you know. It's directed by David Carson, and it made $74.6 million in the theater. I don't know how that couldn't be viewed as potentially a disappointment. And it featured, on the poster at least, giant head of Picard, giant head of William Shatner.
Yep.
Who, at least in the imaging and the promotion of it, receives equal billing. And the film opens with, I think it's Scotty, it's Shatner. Is it Chekhov?
Chekhov, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Those are the three members of the original cast.
You hate Chekhov?
You hate Chekhov?
He's the worst. He's the worst part of that show.
There's a lot of anger. I don't care either way. But
I feel like the worst you could be for Chekhov is indifferent, but
Yeah.
What is
He wasn't a bad character.
He rubs me the wrong way. I find him incredibly annoying. In
you
that
don't
show.
put like they put creatures in our ears when they have the fucking.
I like Anton Yelchin's version of him in those reboots, but
Well, I think don't most people like his version because it's very much like the original Chekhov, and he sounds
maybe
like him.
he's
and-
better looking. I don't know. Chekhov's really ugly.
so you just don't like
Jesus
Mr. Koenig. Is
Christ.
actually
I can't
what-
believe
yeah.
it. You're in a bad mood tonight, no doubt about it.
He's not in a good mood.
What's going on here?
Well, and when they're introduced though, they also, I think, Sulu's daughter or granddaughter is on the bridge when they're coming onto this this new ship.
Daughter.
That's right.
Yeah.
His daughter, yeah.
Well, there's some, as we know, there's some humongous beef between fucking
George Takei?
yeah and William Shatner. Like George Takei hates him. Right. So I wonder if there was that kind of manifested as why they would not just because they don't address Bones, do they? I mean, they don't address Uhura. They just it's just these three guys, but they go out of their way to say this is Sulu's granddaughter, and she happens to be.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, she's the con of fucking.
I had a feeling that they were actually trying to pay a little bit of tribute to him. That I think that they knew George Takei didn't want to do the show for whatever his own reasons were, and that they were doing this to try to honor him a little bit.
You think?
I think that's a safe bet.
No, I was actually reading in some of the trivia about the George Takei.
Noted Trekkie, Gigantor.
The producers asked, this is from IMDb, the producers asked Takei to come back and play Sulu one more time and take the helm at Enterprise B, but Takei refused because if Sulu had taken the helm, this would have meant temporarily reducing Sulu's rank, and he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, but
I think it's because he hates.
So he didn't do a whole
Shatner's
movie
guts.
over that.
No,
over
he
temporary
hates
reduction?
Shatner. That's
Shatner.
bullshit,
Yeah,
by the
say.
way. Every single fucking every Star Trek, they have to have the cast come back and like take their shitty old role because they've all moved on by that point.
And maybe it's because we don't get DeForest Kelly because he's in the very first episode in Encounter at Farpoint,
right?
And so he's gotten his time with the TNG crew, and now we're getting. Although I don't know, James Doohan has a whole episode focused on him when they find Scotty,
which
is a great
So
episode.
does Nimoy. I mean, why is Nimoy's dead, right?
Also, I think
Not
DeForest
at
Kelly.
that point, no.
No.
No, he was still alive at that time.
Are you sure Ted's level is okay, dude? It's gonna just. I don't want to go back.
Ted,
and
maybe hold the
listen to
mic
this.
a little further away.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's holding the microphone where it should be. It's fucking booming in the headphones, and sometimes it isn't on the actual stream. But I just want to make sure the episode isn't being ruined because of that microphone.
Yes, I'm checking in on it now. But all the levels are seeming appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Nimoy was not dead.
In the timeline, he's not dead there. But where does the B? Because what Enterprise is? Wrath of Khan is the original Enterprise.
Yes.
And so at the end, he sacrifices himself at the end of that, and then he gets regenerated.
Correct.
Yeah, Spock. I mean, Spock is in Undiscovered Country. Like he's in the rest of those.
So then, why isn't he in this movie?
That's a great question.
They don't. I mean, do they say anything about? I mean, Shatner references Spock at the end of the fucking movie when he's talking to Picard.
Maybe it was just they had the budget for these three guys, right? You either get Shatner or Nimoy, and then you get two of the other guys.
Right.
And Nimoy was certainly healthy enough to do it. He was definitely in movies like 10 years later, so he would certainly have been able to do it. I really don't have an explanation.
I think
I
it
think
was
they all
just,
hate Shatner.
Well, there's that. As far as the
very
real
true.
life reasons, I think there was that. And then I think just in universe, it's, hey, these are the three guys who had free time to come out for the ceremony. Everybody else was living their retirement life and just doing what they wanted to do.
Okay, all right.
I think that was kind of alluded to in the conversation as well, where like Scotty's like, oh, you should have done something else. Where Shatner's or Kirk is a little upset that he doesn't have the things that everybody else seems to have. He's like, oh, look, a daughter. Oh, look, a happy life outside of Starfleet. It's like, yeah, maybe you should make the time for, the things you want to do in life.
It's weird because they both had the same kind of jag where it was, we wish we would have had a family. That part did not feel right to me either. I never got that sense from Picard or from fucking Kirk. It was interesting that Alan Ruck was the captain of the Enterprise B. So you have a guy who's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and now he's the captain of the Enterprise. And by the way, a bit of a cuck. Trying to immediately turn. First of all, he tries to get out of the mission, and then he tries to turn over the keys to fucking Shatner.
I read something. I read a quote from him where he said that when they sold him the part, it was essentially he came from a rich family and was appointed to this position as a stepping stone to a political career. So his character was never supposed to actually go on any real missions. He was just supposed to be hanging out. and then oops, here we are in the real shit.
But in that part of the movie, the very beginning of the movie, did you guys get a Kobayashi Maru sort of vibe from that? Did you get a feeling like that they started the ship and suddenly they're in a no-win situation that they can't get out of?
That's somebody's got to be sacrificed.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they did get out of it because Shatner was Shatner, But what if he hadn't been on the ship? He was the one down there with the fucking, what are those things called again? The chips. I thought they didn't even have the chips. I thought there was a TNG thing. I remember Geordi explaining that to fucking Scotty about how they switched over to that technology where they use the isolinear chips. Yeah, chip. And then you have Shatner down there with isolinear chips. Like, that doesn't seem the vibe.
Wait a second.
Picking a lot of nits. Malcolm McDowell. Okay, so I remember I saw this in the theater.
Okay.
I remember being incredibly disappointed with this fucking movie. I remember very much thinking it just felt like kind of an average episode of TNG. And I also remember being really upset towards the end where we always talk about strong booking. They book Kirk very strong at the end.
Right.
And they don't necessarily book Picard all that strong. Whereas Picard is a fencer. He's a fucking pugilist. Like, Picard gets into shit during the entire run of TNG. And then he gets beaten up twice.
But not a lot with his fists. See that CQC with his hands. So that's where you need the old hand.
Kirk's
that
a
comes in
rumbler.
with his.
I realize Kirk's a brawler, and they wanted to. He is, and they booked him as such. But every time I turn around, Picard is getting backfisted by Soren into a pile of rocks, and I'm like, "Come on, man! This guy is like this is the cornerstone of your franchise."
He would at least
but
be
this was
sneakier.
Kirk's last ride. I mean, this was a movie where
I got
supposedly
you.
this was going to be the end of it. They really had to put him over, and one of the ways you can do that is by making Picard not look like a Superman. And I think that very much played into it. They really wanted to give him his last shot here.
Remember, his first plan was he was asking Guinan to go back with him. Like, he's in the rift, and he's like, if you and me
What
go.
is she gonna do?
Well, again, she apparently has some sort of power. She was going to fight Q at one point during the fucking TNG run. But yeah, I don't know. And it wasn't even Guinan. It was
she
like,
was like an echo of Guinan that was left in the Nexus.
yeah.
Yeah. I think, and it's funny when you said booked strong, because what I kept thinking is, this is like when a wrestler comes out of retirement. Like, here's Captain Kirk, and we got to make him the guy who ends up getting the win at the end, or at least, the guy who's the focal point of the fist fight. Because, it was very... They had to set up the hardship of Picard getting into CQC with just hand-to-hand combat like that in order to go back in time and then go, oh, look, here's the guy who can take care of things with just his fists.
And he's 70.
And how is it like you can just escape the Nexus by thinking about it? I guess that's how that works. They
They rode horses.
That's
That's how they escaped.
I felt
via
like
horseback.
I felt like there might have been a more convoluted way to have to exit the Nexus on the cutting room floor somewhere. Like, it felt like it was just like, oh, we don't want to be here anymore. Okay, cool. We're not here anymore, and we can go anywhere in time that we want to. So let's go back to about 12 seconds before the bomb's going to explode.
Yeah, it would seem like maybe going back to when Ronnie McDowell shows up on the fucking Enterprise B and strangling him to death would be, and then saving Admiral Kirk.
At least incarcerating him in some capacity. Just be like, hey, this guy's a problem.
Kirk is an admiral in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
How is he a captain in this movie?
He got demoted at the end of Search for Spock.
He did?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he got
What happened?
Is that for
he got
stealing a
demoted
ship?
because he stole the ship and went back into he defied Starfleet orders to go look for Spock on planet Genesis.
He stole the Enterprise?
yeah.
How would one do that?
It's pretty great.
It's
Captain
the first,
Kirk.
it's the first 40 minutes of the movie.
they just
It's
lie.
If you
really
beat up
fantastic.
Soren, he can steal the Enterprise.
I really
I
like
guess.
Search for Spock. I mean, I think that part's awesome.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I don't know. I'm sure it's fabulous. Okay, well that clears it up though. That makes more sense. What did you guys think of this as a movie?
I thought so. The big thing I would say is I was never bored at any point in time. I feel like it moved along pretty well. There was a lot of, if there wasn't a lot of action on screen, there was at least some solid conversation going on. There was some introspection and thought. I think they tried maybe a little too hard to make it feel more epic than it maybe deserved to
100%.
be, based on what was there. But I don't know. I feel like it was just sort of a long episode as opposed to a movie.
That's the
in a
one
lot of ways.
criticism I always hear of it.
As a quality of a movie, I agree that it wasn't great, but it was a lot of fun.
It
I mean, there's
looked
a lot of fun
gorgeous
things that
too,
happened,
by the
and
way.
then
like that's
For those of us that go back to the Kirk era, I mean, I grew up in the 70s when all those shows were in rerun. Everybody was watching them. And knowing that this was sort of his last ride, I really actually did enjoy it. Now, again, it's nostalgia, so you can't judge a movie strictly by that. And I understand the critics obviously panned it a little bit, but I think audiences actually gave it a pretty good review because it is a lot of fun.
Rotten Tomatoes both logged in as rotten, 47% from the critics and 57% from the audience, 50,000 scores. That's close to fresh. I think the problem with it also was if there was a Picard episode, you knew the next one, all right, we're going to get a Riker episode.
Right.
They never, in all of these movies, they're all Picard episodes. And so I love Picard, but there just wasn't a lot of meat on the bone for, like, Worf didn't do much. You know, Worf picked up, like, the pieces of B4.
Michael Dorn, I think, is like famously pretty mad about all of that when he doesn't get a lot
at all
in any of the movies.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's barely in First Contact.
Well, but at least he's fighting Borg, and he has that amazing scene with Picard. If you were another man, I would kill you, or you should get off my bridge. Like, at least he's got some moments. He didn't need to be in this movie, you know? I mean, Data and Picard are the focus, as they always are. Right.
This movie really works for me, and maybe it's because I didn't see it when it came out, so I didn't have the anticipation of it. You know, I didn't
it was
have
a really
the,
big deal.
You know, the poisoned well, if you will. And the first time I saw it, I had a lot of fun with it, and I was like, I think it was like kind of middle of the road for me as far as the TNG movies. This is the third time I've rewatched it, so the fourth time I've seen it. And it really works for me at this point. I think the beats are great. I think Malcolm McDowell is a great Star Trek villain. I like that he's not a warlord that's going to, you know, destroy Earth or anything like that. I think his motivations are interesting, and he's a little more complex. That's a big reason for me is the villain in this particular one. And I like the beats with Kirk and Picard together. And the Data stuff is funny.
I don't like the Data stuff, and I think that's my biggest problem with this movie is what I felt like
comedy Data.
It was awkward the whole time, and then when he's like laughing too hard and he freaks out, honestly, I found it disturbing. I felt like we got to a point where Geordi said, "I'm not wearing that fucking visor anymore."
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And Data said, "I've got to be able to act. You've got to let me act now."
Yeah.
Or Brett Spiner had enough of just being fucking, except when he's Masaka.
Hey, question for you though: he's definitely jerking off, right? Now that he has these emotions and stuff.
What the
he's definitely just
Out of the blue.
I don't know. I thought this was a weird direction we just had.
Like everyone else is. Okay. Look, you're a robot. You get emotions for the first time. That's definitely what happened.
Well, he is programmed for pleasure.
He has Tasha Yar in the spank bank too.
Yeah,
Tasha Yar in her fucking prime. So maybe, and then he bangs some other alien chick from what I recall too. Yeah.
Come on, we're having fun. We're doing a show.
Fucking weird android masturbation. God,
Yeah, no.
Is that what you got out of the movie?
That was like my that wasn't my main takeaway, but it was like my third.
The end of
point,
Kirk, and you're talking about robot masturbation.
I think one of the reasons that audiences had a negative reaction, as you mentioned, the expectations going into it, and everything you saw was going to be like Picard and Kirk together to confront the biggest problem in the galaxy, and then it's like, hey, here's Captain Kirk. Oh, by the way, here's an hour and 20 minutes, and then, hey, look, it's Kirk again, remember?
Right.
And now it's over. And so I think that was kind of people felt maybe a little bit switcherooed on that.
I was okay with that only because it's supposed to be a Next Generation movie.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's how much time those dickheads should be in that movie because it's supposed to be about setting up. It looked great. I think you said that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
It's a really good-looking movie. And I think maybe that might have been subconsciously another problem that I have is it doesn't look like the TNG television show has a very specific look and feel. And this is, not that. It's a big blockbuster fucking movie.
I think my biggest plot criticism is how come Picard is the only one that wants to leave the Nexus, and he's there, and he's having a great time, and instantly he knows, this is not real, I'm out. And he's the only one that
Picard,
does that.
but I mean, that's...
And meanwhile, Soren wants to destroy whole planets to get back into it. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, we don't know how many other people have left the Nexus over the course of history. I mean, it seems like it's very easy as long as you want to. So, I mean, who knows? Right. Other people could have just been like, oh, I'm out. So
Picard never gave us any indication that he wanted to be a big family man. The fact that that's what they gave him, I think that's probably... I mean, if they would have given him, if he's digging in a fucking archaeological dig and he finds a human, and they rip him out of that reality, that might be tougher.
I don't remember being married to or having a girlfriend named Antonia. I don't recall.
No, that was all fake.
With Kirk. Yeah.
Because Kurt's
yeah.
shit was all fucking based on shit that happened to him.
Right.
So Picard's was based on his family had just died, and he was like being whimsical
Yeah,
about
he
that.
was okay when his brother was going to carry on the family
Yeah,
name.
and that's a big plot point that we haven't covered yet. But his brother and nephew died, they burn alive.
Very,
They literally
very
died in a fire.
horrifically. That was a horrible way to
The
go.
way he said he burned in the fire.
Yeah, and it's like I don't like seeing Patrick Stewart
Cry.
be emotional.
It's a
fucking
really
I
tough
don't
scene
like
to
it,
watch.
man. But there are Four Lights episode. I know it's one of the best ones of all time. I don't like watching it because I don't like watching him go through that stuff. Maybe that's a credit to his acting.
Exactly, yeah, that he makes you go along for the ride.
He's the best actor alive.
He's fucking. I'd suck him off.
By the way, director David Carson, director of two great capital G great TNG episodes, Redemption and Yesterday's Enterprise.
was he really?
Yep.
That's the one I picked for
Yeah.
the goddamn.
previous, Make It Show.
Well, I actually like that a lot. They picked the guy that actually directed the show, so he kind of got the vibe.
Little
of it.
Well, and then
Continuity.
the other directors for movies that we aren't covering on this episode, Jonathan Frakes.
Right. Who actually was Commander Riker, if you're curious who that is. Tori, you look like you wanted to say something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, aside from the weird robot masturbating point, I thought it
That,
was
that threw me off,
Out
too.
of nowhere.
It's a strange point.
it was
You guys think Worf's chode is darker than the rest of his skin?
By the way,
I gotta know.
There are people out there that know.
All of this is happening in Dottie's Nexus. Yeah.
You think there's ridges on his ball sack, like on his forehead? Come on.
I've never been more content.
You were thinking about it, too.
I was able to. Maybe it's because I hadn't watched the entire series of television. I was able to see it as a movie. I liked how it progressed. It felt like it moved fast for me. I probably saw Nemesis more as a movie than Generations, but
As far as, like, the complexities of the plot?
yeah, the complexity of the plot. But also for '94, I thought that the camera quality
It looked great.
was fantastic.
Yeah,
It's a
it
very
looks
pretty
really good.
movie.
It looks really good.
Well, and that's actually a good point to bring up is I think with the original series movies, they were made for Star Trek fans, and then other people could see them as well.
Yeah.
When they made the switch to the Next Generation movies, apparently there was a huge push to make them as accessible to everyone as much as possible. And so some of the continuity from the show suffers for that, and some of the, more nerdy minutia gets pushed to the wayside. So the people who were going in expecting, ooh, here's more of that thing that I am completely devoted to, they ended up getting, oh, here's a thing. It's like when a band records a big hit song and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this big hit song. 'cause
Oh,
it's
Logan
not their
Paul's
best
getting
work.
a WrestleMania match, something like that, where you're trying to drag in.
Exactly.
It's always about
that
wrestling.
mainstream versus the hipster.
I fucking hate having to. We have to book this for normies. Like, no, please, God, just please try to make as good a movie as you possibly can. I got to say, I liked it a lot more this time around. I did not. I think because there was so much speculation put on, and there was so much. I remember buying my ticket to go see this in Springfield Mall,
Okay.
being so fucking excited because I'd been sad. Like when the show ended, it's kind of they're alive, and I think I knew movies were coming. But it's sad. Like, it's just kind of a sad, and they're dealing the poker. And it's like, oh, my God, I've been with these people for, I don't know, 28 episodes times 7 fucking seasons. So
It can get you, man. I mean,
It's
you get
it,
invested in TV shows, and I mean, it still happens to this day, but
absolutely.
maybe not to that number of episodes. That was the other thing. So,
I don't know
But
about you.
also now, you have the perspective, though, of someone that has seen worse movies, even worse Star Trek movies than that.
Oh,
And that
most
probably has
assuredly.
something to do
Yeah,
with it.
you're absolutely right. I mean, we're Star Trek movies that they made.
Right.
But now going back and watching it, especially just after I just watched the whole series again, it just feels like, oh, this is nice. Like, I'm glad we have this to watch. And it was fun watching it with my chick, and kind of like my chick. We had dinner, and then I watched it with my chick. She was asking questions and being like, hey, what's this? And, why are these people here now? But she knew all the characters, and so that was kind of fun, too, like showing her a movie version of it where it's all spiffed up and it kind of looks more like Entertainment Today looks.
I had a similar experience. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, my chick liked it.
Yeah. She's liked all the Star
She
Trek
fell asleep
movies
in the middle of Nemesis. I'll tell you that.
So, I mean, when was the
that.
last time you had seen this then?
The theater. And then
Really?
I probably watched half of it
Okay.
10 years ago, and it was like, ugh. And then I never went back to it because
Okay.
I don't like feeling bad about this show.
I understand
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, if you're not feeling it, there's no reason to go back and revisit it.
A couple things here, Dottie. I know that you're really thirsty. I didn't even know people were going to be donating tonight, but Andy from Nashville, Andy Schoner, thank you so very, very much. A very healthy donation on his behalf. Very, very kind. We appreciate him. We'll have a nice slurp. And do you got a bush?
Oh, wow.
Corey Rita. He always does
Coming
it.
through
He
in the clutch.
always does it.
Thank you, Corey.
I was gonna stiff Tor tonight after that goddamn Sharpie incident, but now I gotta give him a couple bucks as Corey came through big time. Corey, thank you so much. That is incredibly generous. And you got Jimmy J, who left the sandwich in the refrigerator, and Tor, who left the Sharpies at Flying Ace Farm. They both get paid tonight because of Corey Arenas. So thank you so much. If you'd like to make a donation, we'll have a drink for you. You do not have to. Go to ChadDukeShow.com and click the donate tab. Very, very kind of both of you gentlemen. All right, you how's it going over there, big man? I saw you brought a couple of bushes up just in case.
Just in case.
Nice. Someone dropped off a 30 rack of Bush Light. I don't even know.
Man.
Where do you buy that?
You got to cross state lines
Safeway,
for that. Yeah.
Giant, Harris.
I think Hank
Teeter.
Williams Jr. has to be playing at the time.
I bought a lot of those.
Like Bocephus has to be actually performing, and then you can buy a 30 rack of fucking Bush Light. You ready, big man?
I think so.
Jester's got to prime the pump, though, right?
Yep.
There it is. Oh.
Oh, there he is.
Tor don't like wasting that.
no.
I heard the gurgle. Here comes, listen, here comes the horrible noise.
Oh God! No, it's gonna be.
Oh! Yeah! You almost look like you're gonna pass out.
As long as the man enjoyed himself.
I think you thought it was going to be more than air. That
What do you think was coming up?
It's still coming up. It's
It was like Worf when he got those venom sacs when they all started de-evolving. I love how fucking Beverly's like, oh, a venom sac. Worf, open your mouth. What the fuck did you think was going to happen?
I'll say this.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Big screen Beverly. Huge pop for me. I mean, come on.
Real pretty. She looked as good, and I also think she laid off the carbs for 6 months. I mean,
It's probably the best that she looks.
she
in
looked
this movie.
amazing in that movie. I also have to give them credit. They booking the Duras sisters getting whacked out is not a small thing.
No.
Because they show up in Deep Space Nine. They were like a part of some heavy plot lines in TNG, and whacking them out was a big deal when they got killed in that movie.
And the way it happened was just really entertaining.
I loved that whole fight scene. It was great.
Yeah, that was a fantastic, I guess you'd call it a dogfight. It's not quite because there's not as much maneuvering.
Sure, but it was Geordi gets they jimmy up his visor to look at the shield modulation, and they're just taking it to the Enterprise, and then all of a sudden they figure out a way to
Like, wait a second.
It's great. And then there's that great I am always a sucker when it's like the build up of the orchestra music and then fire. Like they do it at the best of both worlds.
I was just going to say, it was very reminiscent because the camera pan was almost the same from Worf to Riker, and then it's the command, and you're like, yeah.
Really good
And
fire.
you're watching
moment.
one missile by itself go in and destroy the ship.
And just
It's
blow up the whole
unbelievable.
thing. And then I was kind of hoping that there would be some Klingon cursing from the Duras sisters. By the way, fucking Shane McDouglas or whatever his name is. He fucking wakes up and he backhands the Duras sister across the room.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I hope you went to a mating ritual. I'm like, why don't you just gonna let this guy do this to you? God damn, it's your Klingon vessel.
So they were pot committed at that point.
I guess.
If I could get some Rube clarity here. All right, so those
Rube clarity.
They're the same species as Worf, correct?
They're Klingons.
Okay,
Yes, they're Klingons.
and the Enterprise has beef with the Klingons.
No, the Klingons and the Federation have a treaty at this moment, but the Duras sisters are fucking twats. And
They're fringe. Yeah.
they go around causing problems, and they backed, the House of Duras. They had some little shithead they were trying to have take over the whole the High Council.
Yeah.
They are not happy about peace.
And they're different than the Romulans, who are another enemy of the. Okay,
So Romulans and Klingons, huge beef. But Romulans and Klingons, both Federation enemy in the original series. By the time that passes in between, they have a fucking treaty with the Klingons, so the Klingons are allies, which was a huge deal back when the Next Generation came out.
I mean, to the point where you have a Klingon on the bridge. That was mind blowing to a lot of people.
yeah.
I think it was the undiscovered country where they came up with that treaty. Was that right?
I believe that was
I don't know.
that was sort of the upshot, if I recall correctly. 'cause
More
that was the whole thing.
more tensions with Romulans than Klingons, in the over the course of the series.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Well, Romulans are basically high and mighty tools.
The other dicks.
The Romulans are also treacherous assholes.
Yeah.
The Klingons just want to fight everybody, which is, I think, more commendable. And also lots of blades. I just like the fact that they just use swords and knives. Like, what are you doing? It's the fucking 24th century. Out of your mind. Oh, look who donated, Tor. You know what? You carry him in your heart. Hopefully he can get back there.
D-Man, do it
The
again.
D-Man. D-Man is donated. Thank you to the D-Man. And thank you, D-Man. Your $100 gift card will go towards the make it show Joe Rogan dinner whenever I make it up to these boys.
For 2/3 of a seafood tower,
That's what I wanted to say to him. I was like, we could buy, a portion of a seafood tower now, which will be delicious. Thank you to him. And then John Page swinging in on a fucking chandelier. John Page, thank you so very, very much. Tor, I'm sorry. It's one of those. But hey, means everybody gets a couple bucks. That's
Isn't it
what it
nice?
means.
Yeah.
John Page gets as much as he wants.
That's true.
Seeing John Page on Friday.
Is John on Friday?
He's huge help.
Oh, he's coming out
Oh,
to
look at
help
that.
you load in?
John Page, stud.
Wow.
Nice.
I didn't know that. Excellent. John Page, prolific procreator. Had no idea. John Page can knock up women. That's all I'm going to say. That's right. Chester's a big fan. Now, apparently, he likes to talk about him farting, but that's up to him. That's not up to us.
Well, however you get through the world, isn't it? I mean,
I'm not interested in that sort of thing, but Dottie's interested in talking about Klingon scrotum.
That's the only thing he said so far.
he was thinking about it right there.
I was
just sort of
thinking-
spaced
I've been
off
thinking
there for a
about
second.
all
Since their blood is green, you think Vulcan's jizz green too?
No.
Do you think they do?
The answer is yes.
You were thinking it. So you must have been really confused, Tor, if you didn't know about Romulans. Then when in Nemesis, when there's Remans, you were fucking.
I think
I think it's a breakaway species.
Tor
here.
probably needs to be read up on the neutral zone before we watch
It was
First
a
Contact.
confusing time.
Yeah, Tor is part Reman because he likes to ream men.
That's Chester
Come on,
Simeon.
Wise.
That was awful. That's for John Page right there. Very nice. All right, what's the gurgling noise that comes out of your esophagus going to be for? Here it comes.
Nope.
Fucking clockwork, man. Johnson, are you all
Face is
right?
pink.
I know now to take my headphones off for those particular moments.
That is fucking
too much.
terrible.
Oh my
I
goodness!
guess he punishes me by doing that when I tell him to turn my headphones up more.
Well, of course, that he's gonna have fucking acid reflux in your face. Thank you to John Page. That was a spectacular. Him and Corey Rita leading the charge. All right, as they always do. Go ahead.
It was one little Easter egg.
Please.
Is that Tim Russ, who played Tuvok on Voyager, is on the bridge
Yes.
of the Enterprise at the beginning.
He's also in an episode. Do you remember the episode where Picard goes back to get his saddle on the ship, and they're decontaminating the Enterprise, and like terrorists take over to steal the dilithium, and he's on the ship by himself. Tuvok is one of the guys taking over the Enterprise, so he's been booked
God.
3 times in 3 different roles.
It's wild, isn't it? I mean, it's great for him, and it was just kind of an eagle-eyed thing, like, oh, hey, is that? Well, it is, but it's not really. But it was
Another one. I got a new one for you. I'm going through DS9 right now. Data's mom, the hot older lady that falls and breaks her fucking head open that we all would put it to. She's the fucking husband. Dax, who is the alien that has the slug in her belly that actually was an old man.
Oh, yeah.
She was cheating on her husband with Dax before she became the hot chick.
Oh my God.
They just tried to drag Dax off DS9, and she showed up. I'm like, that's fucking Data's
like,
mom.
wait a second.
And she could still get it from me.
This is Data's mom.
Let me see her.
All in.
Let me see.
All right, hold on.
All in. huh?
Dude, she's fucking.
Is that?
That's her.
Yeah.
My wife. Well, look at her with her hair down when she's laying on the fucking bed before she knows she's a goddamn.
there we
Dude,
go.
my wife came into the room when I was watching the episode. She goes, "Who's that beautiful woman?" I was like, "That's Data's mom. Let's fucking do it. Let's go. Let's find her. This is only 20 years ago. I bet she's held together." Anyway.
But yeah, it's one of those little, Easter egg kind of eagle-eyed viewers get rewarded for
Yeah.
something like that, which is pretty cool.
And it's not like when Jason Alexander shows up as like a Ferengi or like Kelsey Grammer shows up as a fucking.
You're like, hey.
You're like, all right, I know who that is. But it's just like, oh, wait a minute. He's from another episode.
Yeah.
They must just have gone back. They must have had a bullpen of actors where they're like, we like you, what you do in Star Trek. Got to put you in
That
different
makes
roles.
sense. You work with the same, same circles.
Give you a big headpiece. What did you guys, what are we giving Generations? I liked it.
I give this movie a 4.
Wow.
I think, but I mean, we've talked about this movie for
Goodness.
years, where I've told you how much I like it.
Oh, really?
In the world of the TNG movies. Well, I won't say where it ranks. Maybe it'll be fun to reveal our rankings after we cover all 4 movies.
Okay.
Unless we want to do that right now.
No, I don't think. I think we should go.
I think that'd be nice if-
because
if
we're
we
gonna
do all
do
4.
the next episode is gonna be Insurrection and First Contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll have a divvy them all up. I gotta say again, if I'm talking about my chick's reaction to it, when Data sings the Life Form song at the console.
Pretty little life.
She was big, popped at that.
Where are you?
Very big, happy with a very big pop for that.
Yeah, this movie rules. I am really fond of it. Like I said, I think this is my fourth time watching it, even just in the last couple of years.
That is surprising.
And, I really like going back to it. It's become comfort food. So 4 stars.
4. What about you there, Gigantor?
I'm giving this a 3. I enjoyed it. I'm thinking of, all right, no, 3.5. No,
3.5.
3.
3-5 and Data's jerking off.
Yeah,
Tor. You're right.
Damn. You're all in.
I'm sticking 3. It was. I sticking 3.
He's got positronic testicles. Come on, Tor.
I thought that
What made you want to go to a 3.5? It seems
I
like you
thought
got
about
excited.
how cool it was when the Enterprise was landing on the Earth. And
you got to talk about that part.
how well that did.
Fuck that.
I thought it looked great.
How they love destroying the Enterprise.
Love destroying the Enterprise.
They do indeed.
They blow it up in the first J.J. Abrams one, too, don't they? Or the second one, they blow up the Enterprise.
Yeah.
I guess they wanted to get to the new fancy one for the movies.
I suppose.
But
It
it's
looked
just-
really cool on the big screen with new models and new CGI.
I got you,
so-
but out of all-
No, I mean the old one.
Right. And out of all the shit that happened to that ship, the Duras sisters are the ones that shoot down the Enterprise. Fuck you.
I was also intrigued about the if I would have stayed in the ribbon, if I would have been able to pull myself out.
100%.
No one's leaving the ribbon.
Yeah,
No.
boat fishing.
I'm sure you'd be fishing.
And Monk would be there with you in the Nexus because
It'd
you
be
get everything
19-year-old
you
girls.
want.
No, they're all doped up. No cops.
So many ladies with Irish accents.
Yeah. The basement of your parents' house with no spider crickets whatsoever. Not a single spider
You give
cricket.
me a world without spider crickets, I'm dying there.
Blade 2 on a loop forever.
Dotson's right in front of you, and you've pounded 3 old fucking Pearl beers, and you just belch right in his fucking face. I think we're all staying. No, none of our existence is good enough to be like, who cares if it's not real? Fuck
I'm a
this.
huge fan of contentment.
What do I have to explore now? You know?
Well, I think he was gonna. Your boy was gonna blow up like a planet with 200 million people on it,
Yes.
so that he could.
Yeah.
So
There was a
There's
little
a lot of
bit
planets
selfish.
at this point, though.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna feel it.
yeah,
It's fine.
I think I'd have a difficult time pulling the trigger on that. What did you have it at?
I would go with a 3.5. I'd say I would stop just short of a 4 because of the things we talked about, where there's, a little bit of character flaws and there's some kind of like confusion over some of the stuff that happens in the movie. But I would recommend this to people who like science fiction movies and action movies.
I would agree.
If you're a big Star Trek fan, otherwise why would you be listening to this show?
Sure.
I'd say it's closer to a 4. But if you're just kind of looking for a movie, I'd recommend it to people who just like movies.
Movies for people that like movies. I like that. What about you, Ted?
Well, as I said, the movie's a lot of fun. There's no question about it. A lot of fun things are going on. There are some plot problems, but I would still give it a 4. I think it's something that's worth seeing. That I definitely enjoyed. I have to admit I am somewhat biased because I grew up in the Kirk era and I just remember him like that.
Grew up in the Kirk era.
I mean,
but that's a different perspective. I
Yeah.
mean, you're coming at it from that you clearly care more about the way Kirk was booked in this movie
Yes.
than the TNG cast, and maybe that's to its credit then.
I very much enjoyed the first 30 minutes of the movie as well.
Okay.
And that's so I like the fact that I feel like it's a clumsy handing of the torch, but it is in a way. But I think if it had been handled better, that's where I'd go to a 4.
Here's why I can't give it a 4: is that no disrespect, they should have kicked those fogies to the curb. They made 7. They made 7 fucking movies. They made 3 seasons of a show. They did nothing. There's 10 times more the TNG content. I would have preferred if they just focused on making a really good next generation movie as opposed to handing off the baton.
Also, would it have been cooler if, even if Kirk was there, if he'd just shown up?
Yeah, because that happened during the show. Like, you had classic characters just poke their heads out.
As opposed to the whole setup on the bridge of the Enterprise B.
I mean, we had a conversation, I think, on the first episode, like, what the fuck happened to the Enterprise B? Like, I remember because the C is the one that comes through in yesterday's Enterprise, and they send it back through, and it gets blown the fuck up. And I think that was that episode. That's very similar, if not to that one, where they have to send it back through the rift so it can die.
we covered
To
that on
reset the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
properly, yeah.
And then the first one we all know. What's the A, I guess, is the one that we don't know a lot about.
Well, is that the one that they blow up in the movies?
I don't know because there's NCC 1701 and there's NCC 1701A.
Hey, yes.
So there's a ship in between there somewhere that I don't know a lot about.
Once I start thinking about this shit, I just go cross-eyed.
What's the
It's
one?
just-
What's the one on Enterprise? I never watched a second of Scott
yeah.
Bakula.
That must
Yeah.
just be
Watched it.
1701, right? It must have been.
But who's he playing? He's not playing Kirk.
He's playing Archer.
Okay, so is he the captain after Kirk?
No, he's
Before.
well before Kirk.
Well
It's
before.
that's
Yeah.
the first Enterprise
Well, then who's
that goes
Pike?
into space.
Pike is between Archer and Kirk.
I thought Pike was the first.
Jesus
What the
fucking
fuck?
Christ. I
Oh,
don't
by
have,
the way,
I don't have any idea.
Is anyone watching Strange New Worlds? I have not.
There's
started
only one
it yet.
episode.
There's only one episode.
I haven't
saw it,
started
yeah.
yet, but I heard
I've heard
it's awesome.
amazing
Yeah, it's
I heard
pretty good.
Really,
It was
really
pretty good.
fucking good.
Lawson had quite a bit to say about it, so I'm less inclined to check it out.
And they have a lot of the original Star Trek crew on that ship, so that was pretty cool too.
I am looking forward to checking that out.
Okay. Yeah. What he said was if you haven't watched Discovery, like it really behooves you to watch Discovery. And I'm not.
I
going
got to
to
tell
do
you,
that.
there was
I'm not gonna do
I
that.
see why there was a little bit of it, but not much. I think I didn't watch Discovery. I think you could skip it.
Is Discovery over now?
No.
They
No,
did 2 seasons. I
Just
don't know.
in between seasons.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But again,
I gotta catch up.
this is a next generation podcast.
Sorry.
We don't have to.
Enough of
You
this.
don't need to know more about
Um,
Archer.
What did you give a Generations a score 10?
Yeah, 4. I give it a 4.
I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 3.5 because I enjoyed it way more than I did the first time around, and especially if you're running through the series like I just did, it's a nice kind of capper at the end of it.
So, do you remember what you thought when you saw the saucer section crash
I was
into the
bummed.
Earth? At that time?
I was incredibly bummed, and I didn't like it because at that point you knew they were going to build a new one, but you didn't know kind of the extent of it. When they're hanging around having the moment on the bridge where he gets like the family photo album out.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah, where they're
Yeah.
digging through the rubble.
yeah, like where's the fish tank? Where's all of his
know.
antiques from his ready room? I don't know. I
was
don't
bummed. Yeah.
I don't like it when they blow up the Enterprise, and they seem to like to go to that well quite a bit. But yeah, I'd say 3.5, and it's better than I remember. So I'm happy about that. Do you guys need a piss break, or are we transitioning to Nemesis? What are we doing?
I'm always okay with a piss break.
Piss break would be.
Is piss break good? Well, you didn't realize you were going to be drinking tonight. Tord, can you give me the update on where piss break is?
Piss break should be board 2 in yellow.
Okay.
Very fitting.
Yeah, I mean, that's disgusting. I'm looking in yellow. I don't see any piss breaks.
Yellow
It's gonna
fluid.
be on- it would either be. It might be on board 1.
I was really going to be impressed with your savant-like memory of where things were on the boards too, because you just kind of did the whole like fingers to your temples psychic bit.
Yeah, we got to board 2. We got to pare that down a little bit. All right, very cool. We are going to take a quick piss break. If you're one of the 11 people watching live, stay there. We will come back, and then here's a tease: Star Trek Nemesis discussion coming up next on Make It show there, boy.
That's better. I needed that.
Yeah. Bathroom breaks kick ass.
All right, hey, we got the screen back on real quick that time.
Nice.
And we are back. The urine has been expelled, and we're here. We're ready to talk. We're ready to talk brass tacks, clones, and Tom Hardy's big lips. So we're doing a 2-pack. The way this goes is we're going to do one episode with 2 episodes of the movie series, and then another episode with the other 2 movies, as we described. We're doing Nemesis and Generations this time, and Insurrection. And First Contact the second. Nemesis is the last of the Star Trek The Next Generation movies. By the way, 2002. So if you think about that, that's a pretty large chunk of time between 94 and 2002.
Tough time for this movie to come out, and I think it was a big flop, right? I think I read 60 million budget, made 64, so that's a failure because success is 150% of your budget.
Yeah, with marketing and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, kind of a rough time for it to come out, and you know, you could argue that maybe the people say that the crew, the story, the characters, the show ran its course.
The window had closed.
Also, 2002, you have, albeit it's a shit movie, but you have Attack of the Clones, which is it was huge when it came out. And this came out in December of 2002, so competing with The Two Towers, which at the time probably the biggest movie out in years at the time. So I think that's probably what hurt it most. Was having to come out at the same time as that colossal franchise.
Yeah, certainly didn't do it any favors.
But don't you think a lot of audiences found this to be a very dark movie in a lot of ways? That it's one of those. Sure. I mean, the light was down literally to make it a dark movie at a time where we didn't just accept dark movies like we do now.
Right. Die Another Day came out that year. Reign of Fire. Signs came out. Men in Black 2. So a lot of sci-fi, a lot of big sci-fi movies. And I'm with you. I remember when it came out, I was like, oh, they're still making those, I think was when
I have a feeling that was a lot of people's reaction.
Yeah, which I think stinks because I remember when I watched the first, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie, I think it borrows a lot from this movie. Big, scary Romulan warbird, big, scary, bold Romulan, destroying
Rogue
everything.
agent.
Yeah,
my favorite of the
planet-destroying weapon.
Yeah, there's a lot of the same similar planet-destroying fucking weapon that can end an entire planet's existence in one. So I think there's a lot of similarities between the two. It's also, I don't know how young Tom Hardy is in this movie. I looked at some of the pictures from the red carpet where it's him standing next to like Brent Spiner and Marina Sirtis, and it's shocking. It's because he's such a humongous movie star now, and it's difficult to kind of figure out. I don't know, like, where TNG characters and actors in those shows probably have more passionate followings than a lot of big name actors and actresses, but they're so commoditized, or I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, in like these are Star Trek characters.
Right.
It's kind of difficult to compare their fame.
They have a lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tom Hardy was 25, which means I have just about a month to be in a Star Trek movie.
Okay, all right, fair enough. There's a couple. First of all, Tom Hardy is a fabulous actor, and there's some really great lines for Shinzon in this movie. I don't think he particularly looks like Picard, and there was this big moment where they give him the big reveal as the bad, and everyone kind of stops and looks around. I'm like, what are we supposed to be feeling right now?
Why are we excited?
The first time I watched this and that happened, I was like, Hank, what? And I rewound it. I mean, I watched this on Blu-ray for the first time.
Am I supposed to recognize this guy from an episode or something?
I had to rewind it, and then I was like pulling up Wikipedia, like, wait, what the fuck is going on right now?
And it was enough that they had to spend time explaining why he didn't look like Patrick Stewart. Oh, if you were raised like I would, I had my jaw broken, things like that. So, yeah, I mean, I got no vibe that he actually looked like him.
You got to look past it, really, for the movie to continue working for you. It's just something that almost like you got to make an exception for Kirk being overbooked in Generations, or the logic of the Nexus, things like that.
There's a lot of things in this movie I like. One of them is when they're sitting in there for like 17 hours or whatever, and Picard's angry, and then the scimitar uncloaks in front of them. Like they do a really good job of. It's a very slow build. It's kind of like looming in the background, and then you see the reaction of everybody. And then I think Worf says 300 phaser banks, like 400 torpedo. Like you can see how like holy shit, like they're all kind of
predator.
Yeah, they're freaked out by how big and powerful this ship is, which is to their credit. That part's difficult to understand as well, is because apparently they built it in secret. He says that, and it's like, well,
how could you pull that off?
How did you? And they're firing from cloak like the entire movie, which I believe is impossible up until that point in Star Trek canon.
Yeah, that was the whole thing, is that you couldn't fire without without disabling the cloaking device.
That's how they destroyed the Duras ship in Generations, is it had to drop cloak and then they were able to blow it up because the shields were down and they couldn't. There's some good stuff in it, and I think I like Shinzon. Like I think he's a good villain, and I think the backstory is very interesting because it's believable. Like the Romulans would do some crafty fucking shit like that, right? Clone Picard and try to take him over.
It's like the initial shock of that reveal. If you don't know the plot of this movie, if you don't know that's what happens, is really hard to get past. Which is why I think this movie, and this is only my second time watching Nemesis, this worked better for me on the rewatch, is because I knew that they were going to tell us.
You could immediately
it was a clone, because the first time I was just, for like 45 minutes, I was like, what the fuck? It really, like, I had a lot of trouble digesting. And this time around, I knew it, and I didn't try to think too much about it. And so I do think that's a reason that this, was poorly received upon its release, is that people just weren't able to grasp or fully get on board with that type of thing.
I can see that. I think there's also there are a lot of stretches where not a whole lot happens.
Yes.
There's a lot of, my life was terrible. Okay, great. Why is he immediately angry at Picard and Earth? Why isn't he mad at the Romulans for making him what he was? And he starts off, that's his whole thing, is that he kills the entire Senate, and then, all right, cool, now he's going to take over Romulus, but he doesn't quite, and that's why everybody on Romulus is mad at him. All of his co-conspirators were angry that their plan wasn't moving forward, and he was more concentrated on this other objective. And so where did that other objective come from? I think that's where some of the confusion has come in as well.
Was it to get the lifeblood from Picard himself?
Well, he needed that. That
right.
was a
and
byproduct.
and he couldn't tell anybody that that's what was going on because he really didn't want people to know he was dying, and he was seconds away from death.
Did everyone know he was a clone of Picard? Did all of his
the Remans?
Remans, did they understand that?
No, I think he mentioned that they destroyed the plan, so a whole new government came into place. So I don't think they really knew that.
I think the Remans hated him because he was human, and the rest they normally were attacking Romulans,
and yet they let this human become their leader.
The problem that also it was a very Death Star like approach where we have this ship that nobody can beat, and it seemed like a very strong starship, and I'm like, well, if the entire armada of Romulan ships were to engage this thing where they can all cloak and would they not be able to take it down?
Yeah, it's not the size of a planet. It's
right.
big, but it's not. Yeah, it's not enough that there's no force in the universe that would be powerless.
And in fact, it did
it.
struggle to take down 2 of those ships. Now, they ultimately was able to do it, but
I mean,
if there were 10 of them, you would think that would be enough.
Yeah, you would think that if the Federation didn't know about them yet, and I guess the point was to destroy Earth without having to engage in some massive conflict. You just poison everybody with whatever that shit was. I do like whenever a ship has to go through. I forgot there's another show with it. I don't forgot what it is. If it's another Star Trek episode where there's a ship that's taking a moment to unlock like that and turn into this big massive thing. I like that. I like whatever it's okay, it's forming whatever form it needs to turn into to unleash some sort of hellish weapon. What the fuck movie was that?
I mean,
there was a big parachute involved.
Was that the original Star Trek movie of the new Star Trek movies where the Romulans showed up and it was another big Romulan ship?
I think that's what it was. Which another reason is how much they borrowed from this fucking movie. Giant Romulan ship unfolds. I think you're right, Ted. Because I think they take that down in a very similar fashion as well, where it's Kirk and Spock running and gunning on that goddamn
that's
thing.
Supposed to be like a mining vessel or something like that.
And it's from the future, so
Nero was like a miner, and then he watched Romulus get destroyed.
Right, but the reason why the ship was so OP was because it came from the fucking future.
I would love to talk about that movie.
What are you guys laughing at?
I just like the quickness that you responded with the ship as OP. It tickled me.
Well, that means overpowered for those of you that for those of you that fuck women and they don't understand what that means. That's what that means. I like the back and forth between Picard and Shinzon at first. I thought is pretty good. When he's on the floor of the Senate and he's like, "I really want to trust you," but that's kind of him being more of the wily dog, where he's like, "You've given me no reason to." I don't dislike this movie as much as everybody else does.
Okay,
same here.
I think I think the Remans are cool. They're kind of. I like the darkness of it. It kind of gives it a gritty feel that Star Trek doesn't have a lot of time.
I can see that. Yeah, the Remans, I couldn't get past the fact they reminded me of the Fifth Element a lot. Because just the way that they're...
If it's war they want.
Yeah, the way their facial structure was, and also the fact that they were wearing holographic cloaks, and they had those weird rainbow colored cloaks that I was just distracted by whenever they were on screen moving around. But I couldn't get past the visual design of those characters in some ways, because I guess they sort of explained it where they don't live on the burning hot side.
Right, they live on the dark side of the planet.
They live on the dark side of the planet.
What did you think of the fact that Data had not one but 2 Deus Ex Machina moments here? One where he saves Picard.
Yeah,
he actually saved Picard twice.
Well, that's the whole series, though. If you're going to get mad at Data saving everybody, then you don't like Star Trek, because that's all he does. He's booked it. B4 was really fucking annoying. I don't like the B4 character.
What do you mean by that?
What?
That was a B4 line. I'm sorry. I tried to. What do you mean by that? Wow.
I don't understand.
Boy.
Hey, it's okay.
I can't wait to listen to you and Dodson's Star Trek comedy podcast that we're going to be treated to in the very near future.
Do you think B4 ever had naughty thoughts?
Oh, boy. You think B4 and C-3PO could procreate and live in a civil robot union?
No chance.
I'll be under the table.
Whenever Data's doing a dumb voice, too, I don't necessarily like it all that much. He kind of does that. Masaka is coming. Like he did that a lot throughout the series where he would just do a stupid voice. And I don't know. I'm fine with Data sacrificing himself for the Enterprise makes sense. And sacrificing himself for Picard in general makes a lot of sense. And knowing what we know about Picard, where I thought the main storyline was going to be Data still alive because B4 becomes Data, I feel better about it now because I dislike that character enough where I don't want him to get that kind of shine.
Well, because that's one of the complaints you see very frequently is that Data's sacrifice is kind of cheapened because he basically made a backup of himself before going and sacrificing himself.
That was probably more to cover their bets. I would assume that's kind of a movie gimmick.
Right, because the franchise was not discontinued until after the release of Nemesis.
Right.
They discontinued because it was a flop.
Although the tagline for the movie was "A generation's final journey begins," I think they were ready to move on from Star Trek in general. I think there had been diminishing returns.
But I guarantee if it made $150 million, a different decision might have been made.
So I can see
But it's
having some
amazing
flexibility.
how quickly they came back and made the new movies, though, after this.
How-
Really only a
how-
couple of years later, wasn't it?
No, 2002 and then like 2016. You got
Was it that long
Why,
for the first movie?
why is it that, I mean, it's not your fault the microphone stinks, Ted, but it's like he'll only either put it completely inside of his mouth or down by his ball bag.
You gotta
So
straight
I
on,
was
man.
wondering,
Straight on?
is
Just fucking just like,
Doing the best I can.
it's like tongue in the shaft. Let me check because I'm pretty sure there was about 14 years that transpired in between the two. But they did borrow a lot. It is. I remember screaming about this on Big O and Dukes, where I said that the last fucking Star Trek movie that they made basically had the exact same premises of the J.J. Abrams one.
Abrams was 2009.
Okay, so not that far. Yeah, 7 years. It's about
And
7 years in a full reboot.
I really love that movie too. I mean,
Yeah, it's
that was
great.
actually that was my introduction to Star Trek and all that I had watched for a long time before getting into any other property. But I still hold that movie very close to me.
Well, and I think the fact that they came back with a complete reboot with original characters in it, I mean,
the original
characters in it, kind of speaks to how much they were like, well, the well is dry for all of the TV actors.
We didn't get a
being in
Deep
the big
Space
screen.
Nine or a Voyager movie.
No.
Right.
That's curious too. They didn't feel enough. They didn't feel strongly about either of those fucking shows to even attempt anything like that.
Yeah,
We do get
Voyager's send-off is Janeway showing up on the comm.
I was about to say we do get Janeway in this movie though.
Yeah,
just
she
for
was
one scene.
an admiral at that point. It sounds like you guys agree with the critics. You don't like this movie.
I like this movie.
You do?
Yeah, I like it even more than.
Why?
Of course, you like Star Trek.
What does that mean?
I wouldn't put it that way.
I kind of like this movie.
Is that Ted you're doing right now? I think that's a Ted impression.
It's a
that's
dark,
happening right now.
brooding movie where just everybody's
Dark
sad.
and brooding?
Yeah, that's
it's
how I would
fucking
describe it.
Star
It's
Trek.
not.
What are you talking
They were-
about?
they were-
The Remans. The Remans look like Power Rangers. Like
Yeah, I don't know.
They're wearing
This
purple
is-
shiny suits.
Ted's describing this like it's fucking hereditary.
So much.
Did you not enjoy Picard just drifting around in that big cart that popped out of the?
God.
out of the-
Of
I'm
course
just
I
like,
did.
oh yeah, drive fast. Go ahead.
Great line from Data, by the way. I will always be puzzled by the human predilection for piloting vehicles
Yeah.
at unsafe
Yeah, kick
velocities.
that.
I like that part.
Why
Fucking
not?
awesome.
I like
loose a
him
little
driving
power
around
scale.
in the ATV,
You're a
bombing
hater,
around.
Ted.
Like, he's a big fuck. Well, Goat's quietly hating over there. I hear Goat simmering and hating
He
over
is
there.
the quiet hater.
He's the quiet
often on
hater.
the
That's
show.
actually a really good nickname for a fucking loud Goat.
Just to change it.
The quiet hater. You didn't like it, Goat?
I was underwhelmed.
Hater.
Yeah.
Oh, hating.
Hating ass hater. That's what we're gonna call him. If you're underwhelmed by this, I'm excited to review Insurrection. It's gonna be a fucking,
I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be a hoot. There wasn't stuff in it you liked?
I'm trying to think if there was anything that really stood out to me. I mean, I appreciate the wrap up at the end. I like that they had this final giant moment for the cast. I also really liked the Blue Skies song with the little hint at the future. I appreciated I always like it when the crew of the Enterprise gets to be a little bit more regular people. So the wedding scene at the beginning, I kind of appreciated that as well. I liked that it set up that these are and they've shown it over the entirety of the series, but they care about each other. That there is that connection. I felt like having another Data brother was just like, okay, this is clearly tacked on for just the sake of having another subplot. And I guess they were going for a parallel between B4 and Data and Shinzon and Picard, where they both have these quote-unquote mirror images of themselves.
Yeah.
And, their experiences make them who they are, not their DNA. And so you kind of have that. I like the message that gives, but I feel like it was a little ham-handed.
I kind of like Picard with the phaser rifle, just kicking
Just
ass.
mowing them down.
Yeah, just mowing motherfuckers down at the end, too.
Going, fucker.
And he was so confident he went on the ship by himself.
If
He didn't need anybody
I have
else
to handle this, counselor, you fucking hoe.
No, let's bring 10 people with us.
Now, even though they do end up kind of destroying the Enterprise again, I like ramming speed. I like when they're just like, all right,
great.
screw it, let's go, and just
And like,
throttle down, throttle up, let's roll.
Hard to port!
Shinjon can't believe it. He hasn't changed clothes at all. It is a very cinched up fucking ball gown that he's wearing. Very, very tight. He reminds me of Momsy from Return to Oz. That's a deep cut. I don't know if you guys are ever going to be able to check that one out. But it was
That movie's terrifying if you're
fucking
too young to see it. Yeah,
it's horrifying now.
That's
The
true.
Wheelers are scary. That whole goddamn the Gnome King is horrific in that movie. We should do that.
the Hall of Heads.
All right. I'd give it. I don't think it's that much worse than Generations. I really. Tor, did you enjoy this one?
I like this one more than
Did you really?
Generations. Actually,
Why?
it felt more cinematic. Maybe it's I mistakenly watched this movie first, but I'm like, damn, this is a Star Trek movie. Like,
Right.
as soon as they started moving around the cameras, I'm like, shit, here we go. And first time I was really like, okay, here comes movie
It's
time.
faster paced for sure.
It
And
definitely
also,
was.
Malcolm McDowell's character never, to me, felt like a big bad villain.
threat.
Where Shinzon feels like a big, evil, scary villain guy that's capable of that shit.
But he has a time bomb attached to him. You know that within a few minutes, a couple hours.
Not if he
he's gonna
sucks off
expire.
Picard. If they get a hold of fucking Picard,
It's time for the procedure.
I have to suck the life essence from your penis, Picard.
And the trope of the parallel lives, same person. How would you turn out if you were in a Shinzu had to make it?
Shinzu.
Shinzu.
Shih Tzu.
Is that some sort of mushroom? It's
a puppy.
Shinzon had to make it from the lithium mines, whereas Picard just kind of worked his way up. You're like, okay, so they're
Probably
doing
not lithium, I would imagine.
I thought I might be confused, but he
Was it trilithium?
he was in
Lithium is kind of what you take when like you're really depressed. and
Serious
you're in the
XM
loony
channel.
bin,
He was
right?
in-
Yeah.
he was
You
in
listen to some alternate rock.
he was in the mines, and then Picard's doing his thing. So you're like, okay, their dialogue between I can change it, or you can change how it goes. I'm like, okay, I know this trope from I still can't pull the exact trope where I saw that kind of parallel lives but different. But I do like that trope. It is enjoyable for me to see how two different people.
Never. When he's saying it's never too late to change. Yeah, I like that part too. Yeah, I'd give it a 3. I mean, it's not offensive to me. It's more Star Trek. I like some of the characters. There's some great action sequences. It sounded like Goat didn't like when they were bombing around in the fucking dune buggy. But with Worf on the turret,
I think
liked
I was
that
okay
part.
until the Thelma and Louise jump into the
Oh,
shuttle.
I love that. The remote control fucking ship, and they
Also
jump
awesome.
in the back. Yeah,
Did you not like Data jumping out of the ship himself, going Lone Ranger?
Oh yeah, when he does the old Superman
Fucking
thing.
awesome.
And I did dig that.
I don't believe you.
No, I actually did dig that because he's like where they timed it with the force field going away because he doesn't have to breathe. So it's like, and I'm out. So I
think
actually
Goat
enjoyed
liked
that.
it the most because in the vacuum of space, there's no sound, and so he can just hate openly.
Ah,
If
yes.
he's the quiet hater.
People can
then
hear
it's
it.
always
Yeah.
quiet. I'm gonna give it a 3. I don't think it's a terrible movie.
I'll sit at a 3.5 for this one. I feel like a 4 would mean that I would be a truly a fan of,
Now
of Star Trek.
I think you're real close.
That's the thing.
I think we're a Mississippi half step away
I
from it.
realized, damn, you're getting kind of close.
I think First Contact's gonna put him right in our fucking camp.
First Contact's gonna work, and if he checks out the Abrams verse, I think that's
Fuck
going
that.
to really
Don't listen to what he's saying. He's fucking hack.
I also like Picard's fucking brass clangers when he said, "All right, we're gonna ram this shit right into you."
That was Picard that did that. I thought it was Riker.
Because he thought that Shinzon knew what he was going to do. He's like, he knows what we're going to do. All right, let's just rip it at him.
I was real drunk when I rewatched it.
It's basically like, he thinks he knows everything that I'm going to do because he has my my DNA, but nope.
I couldn't figure out why my wife went to bed early. I watched 3 episodes of Deep Space Nine, then I watched Generations, and then I said, all right, I'm putting on Nemesis. She's like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, well, you know where the bedroom is. Do I need to fucking draw you a map? Oh, no. We got to beat this clone Riemann piece of garbage. This piece of G. We got to fucking send him to the back of the kettle mines. Yeah. You gave it a 3.5?
I gave it a 3.5. I thought I was able to appreciate it as a movie. I'm like, shit, if it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
So here's
Here
the
we
thing. No. This might surprise you.
I'm not so quiet anymore.
For a number rating, I would give this a 3.
Really?
Yes, because there are things that I am not a huge fan of. There are things that I kind of roll my eyes at, but the good stuff in here is fun. And I wouldn't recommend it to other people to watch, but I would check it out again.
When they get right into the nebula and the scimitar opens up on the Enterprise, there's some good space fighting.
Yeah. There's a lot of great action in it. I mean, again, I had, the eye rolls with the jump onto the shuttle.
I don't understand why that bummed you out so
Picard
much.
piloting Darkwing Ducks playing around for a little bit there was a little bit jarring.
Isn't that just a shuttle? What the fuck are you talking about?
It was the design of it threw me a little bit. There's
The Argo.
This is this is the nerd hole.
No,
we're in the nerd hole.
The Argo is the fucking dune buggy.
Oh, it's a dune. I thought that ship was the.
No, it says Argo on the side of the
okay.
dune buggy.
Yeah,
I think
because he's very excited about
watching
trying.
it in high def. You fucking idiot!
oh, damn!
He's talking to you, Ted.
Wow. Go gave it a 3. I mean, that's.
No, he actually was talking to Ted.
I don't know. I don't know that he was.
He wasn't looking at Ted.
Might have been talking to both of you.
I know Go bites
A goat will leave the beach. Don't even fucking play.
No. Donnie knows that I only do high definition.
It's game 5. I'll leave right now. I'll fucking piss in your Wheaties. You'll find me at a Glory Days before the episode finishes.
I don't understand those two quibbles because to me those were both fun. Picard's so reserved, getting to see him bomb around on the ship and drive around in the dune buggy.
Also, we see the
with the blue light glasses on.
And here's why I think that works even more is that this movie opens with Picard more like open and loose than he's
kinda
really
drunk.
ever been.
He seems kind of drunk
because he's giving the toast and he's busting balls at the wedding and stuff, and even his demeanor when he's then treating Riker and Deanna on the bridge is different afterwards. I think it is a looser Picard after the previous 3 movies and however 170
Well,
episodes.
Worf's been 12 inches deep in that, right? Are you sure you want to go through with it? Check the inside of her 4th rib.
Where no man has gone before, eh?
Oh my god!
Can you imagine? There's a season. I thought about this the whole time I've watched Star Trek. Where Worf talks about how he cannot mate with human women because they would die.
Yeah.
He says that, and then he's banging Deanna Troy.
Well, she's only half human, if you'll remember.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Beta Zeds don't look like they're fucking gladiators. You know what I mean? They're empaths, for God's sake.
So, how do we
All
feel?
up in them ribs.
How do we feel about the psychic intrusion?
That was completely unnecessary.
It was uncomfortable.
And also, it took there's no Star Trek: The Next Generation. They deal with real issues, like they tackle real problems. But when you get to sexual assault, it doesn't really feel like it has a place. And also, I got to be honest, the face appears for like 2 seconds, and she's had stuff like that happen to her throughout the course. They go out of her way to like zoom in on her. It was an assault, and I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of terrible. And then they revisit it with like, remember me, like oh, this is really uncomfortable.
Violation is the word she uses.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Whatever.
It's
I didn't
really
like that
tough.
part of it. It kind of took me out of the movie.
I've always been a little curious why they choose his fascination with Troy over Crusher, just because it's the clone of Picard, and obviously there's like that like somewhat like romantic link between Crusher and Picard throughout the whole TV show. Like maybe it is because this is
30 years
Bizarro.
older.
Crusher, and then also,
something
I mean, I don't mean that. She's a little hagged out by then.
Sure.
But it happens.
Just from like a character point, like I guess maybe they are looking for like true like Bizarro Picard, where he's interested in Troy instead
Are you
of Crusher.
expressing a personal interest here? Yeah.
when that chick that's pretending to be a god comes onto the fucking plane, onto the plane, the Enterprise. She turns into Troy. She says, "Could I be someone that's right in front of your face?" Like there's been things with Troy and Picard throughout the whole series. Every once in a while.
Also, she has the open mental channel to communicate with someone else, so I think she's the target. I don't think Crusher would necessarily be able to be psychically taken over from across the universe.
That's a good point.
I'll tell you what, that dude that's like his right-hand man that I guess took his Bane, like can tell when he's hurt, can like psychically connect with other people. I mean, it's a powerful fucking dude. I mean, and then Riker just whips his ass.
You know who that is, right?
Who?
Ron Perlman.
Yep. Yes.
Oh, I had no idea that was Ron Perlman.
Cheat code. Yeah. Ron Perlman, baby.
Why not put him in? You got to put a lot of makeup on him if he's going to be in your movie.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah, he was great.
So this was, I think, between Alien Resurrection and Blade 2.
That's a really crazy fucking. By the way, think about how bad Alien Resurrection was. That's why I think Goat's full of shit. Like if you go and watch Alien Resurrection, that is such a worse representation of that franchise than this movie is of the TNG franchise.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a separate discussion entirely.
Well, it's the same thing. It's a sequel that everyone's looking forward to, and it stinks on ice. This is better than that. If you're going to talk about, it's way better than Insurrection. Mm-hmm. And I'd say this is as good as Generations. I really would. This to me, it's a very similar level to those two.
I would definitely say Generations was better.
Because you're you want to milk Kirk's prostate. That's why.
He's the one that started it. There would be no Star Trek if it wasn't for
You've
Kirk.
You've witnessed the signing of the Magna Carta.
So
How relevant is your opinion?
What do you give it, Ted?
I would give it a 3, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I take it back.
It was okay. Definitely some things I liked. I actually really liked the fight scene with all the Romulans. I actually enjoyed that. You know, that was really a lot of fun. But I overall, like I said, I didn't really like a lot of the scenes where they were actually on Shinzon's ship. I thought it was just too dark. Couldn't really see things very well. And I know they were
that's
going.
Put on your an old fucking man. God, every comment that
but
he
you're
has,
asking me what I thought of the movie.
But if you're
I know I'm old.
But you got to admit, I'm old and I can't see. That's why I had problems with this movie.
NFL players wear face masks now. All right, you got to get past
some
it.
laser corrective surgery for God's sake.
How long has Tor been waiting to say that?
You're fucking bitching, Christ.
Tor, that's funny, man.
Drives me insane. Why do they take the leather helmets off their head? I'll never watch again.
Well, they used to be able to smoke in a stadium.
Otto Graham used to tote the rock right down the field, and it was literally a rock. So what did you give it, Ted? A 3?
A 3, yes.
So that's not bad.
It's not horrible. Overall, like I said, I like the Star Trek movies generally. I mean, that's just a relatively low rating for me for a Star Trek movie.
This is a 3.5 for me.
Oh.
I think the B4 stuff is the worst of it.
I don't like
but
it.
There's not a whole lot else that I have problems with. It's fast paced. It gets to it pretty quickly, and I think it is much better on the rewatch. I really had trouble figuring out and like really coming to grips with the whole clone thing the first time I saw this, but this time around I knew what it was. I knew where it goes, and it worked really well for me.
It reminded me of Return of the Jedi, and I know this is going to sound weird, but like in Jedi, you have the big space fight going on, right, up above the planet, and then you have the rebels fighting on the planet, and then you have the big Jedi face-off between Luke and Darth Vader and the Emperor. And that's kind of what it felt like to me, is that Data and Picard were over on the ship having that role. There was the big fight in the space, and then the Romulans were on the ship, and Riker's handling all of that. So whenever there's a conflict on 3 different fronts like
scales,
that,
yeah,
I just think that's fun. And I feel kind of bad that Goat didn't enjoy some of the. I would agree, more lighthearted portions of the show, or the movie rather. I thought it was fun to see them having fun, because there's a lot of times you don't see them having a lot of fun.
One thing I did love about the Dune buggy chase is how stoic Worf was in the back when they were
was
first
all
driving through. Where even before anything went off, he's just back there stone faced.
Yeah.
And, Picard's sitting there with a big old shit eating grin on his face. And
I did feel bad that they kept ordering, like, Worf, pick up that arm. It's like, well, dude, he's keeping you alive right now. Like, that's what he's there for. I wish they would do a Worf movie.
Are you aware of the resume of Stuart Byard, the director?
I am not.
This was his last directorial picture. He is largely an editor and has edited Lethal Weapon,
Ted got
Die
his wish.
Hard.
Drove this guy right out of the business.
Skyfall, shit ton of movies.
How about you turn the fucking lights on if you want me to watch your movie?
His previous 2 movies,
Table 5 needs a refill of coffee.
Yeah. What are you saying, Diggin?
U.S. Marshals and Executive Decision.
I love both of those movies.
Not a bad run of 3 movies.
Love both of those movies. Those are a lot of fun. I tell you, those stupid U.S. Marshals movie, everyone hates it. I'm like, it's still Sam Gerard. It's still Tommy Lee Jones with that group of people chasing down a celebrity fugitive. Give me that. Make one of those movies right now. Pantaleone's still alive, right? I bet that most of the fucking crew that's with him is still alive.
Robert Downey Jr., I think.
Yeah. Oh, he dies in that movie.
Yes.
That'd be amazing to bring him out of retirement.
RDJ?
Like, yeah.
You bring out he comes out of retirement to be in U.S. Marshals too.
The next Marshals. Yeah, if you bring back the whole old
Can you
crew.
imagine what that team would look like in 2022? Oh my fucking god! All right, well, I'm glad. I was worried that everyone else was going to kick the shit out of Nemesis, and I'm glad that didn't happen. And I actually really enjoyed revisiting both of these movies. I had fun watching them both.
So did I.
Of course, I was shit faced, and I was having a fucking Star Trek bukkake session.
This is amazing.
It was a lot of that good. I went charging up into the bedroom at 3 o'clock and kicked the door.
You're not gonna believe this.
They caught him. They caught Shinzon. And she's like, I'm getting a divorce. So, yeah, that was it. You got to keep a positive mindset if you're going to fucking go in and watch these things. But I would also say that if you haven't watched any of the series, I think you could still, if you watch the movies, you could enjoy this movie, even though it's the last movie and there's a lot of baggage that comes with it. Is that too much? Do you need to watch all 7 seasons?
I don't think so.
I think this movie's pretty accessible. Maybe a little bit about like Romulan conflicts might go over.
You'll
your
appreciate
head,
it more.
But otherwise, I think if you can kind of figure out, all right, there's more work about Data being an android in this movie than probably any of the other ones.
Right.
So I think it works.
I watched Doctor Strange, and I had a thought while I was watching it. I said, if you haven't seen WandaVision, you really are going to miss an enormous amount of this fucking movie. Yeah. And I didn't feel necessarily the same way about this and the rest of it.
Yeah, I think that was a
But
concerted
generally,
effort.
that is the case with Star Trek movies. That you don't have to know that much of the backstory.
I didn't know Khan was in the TV show. Rather Khan is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I have never seen the episode where Ricardo Montalban is in. Is in that.
You missed out. I got to tell you.
I'd love to see it.
I think it's very good. Yeah.
I have 5 times your strength.
I just know that it looks so. The show looks so.
You have refused
bad.
my recommendation many times.
It looks so bad every time I watch it. I'm like, this doesn't even look like a set. It looks like they said, we don't care what this looks like. Get these idiots that are in these stupid uniforms out in front of these fake craters. And here's a lizard man from another movie.
Budgets are what they are.
There's an episode of, I hate to keep doing this, but there's an episode of Deep Space Nine where there's this lizard dude and he's being like chased. He's prey and he keeps getting chased by this other alien.
Tusk.
Yeah, that's him. Thank you. And he looks great. Like he disappears. His costume looks awesome. And then you go back and watch
the Gorn.
You just go back and watch the fucking original series. You're like, could you put some effort into this? Could you spend an extra $20 to go to Total Craft?
They tried.
Get this guy some lizard hands. Yeah. Oh, I hate that show so much. All right, very good. Well, this has been tremendous. Boys, really and I have to personally thank all of you because I fucked the whole schedule up for this thing, including Ted, who I called tonight, and I said, get your pink ass over here. I know we're not doing it tomorrow. We're doing it tonight.
Ted was here within the runtime of an episode of Seinfeld. And I was impressed.
Absolutely makes me question our friendship because I will give Ted 6 months notice on an event. He goes, no fucking way, Dukes. You can piss off a rope. But if I said we're talking Star Trek tonight, not tomorrow, I'll be right there. He's got gifts for people. He's fucking swaggering in. You do. Certainly do. Tor, did you rate Nemesis? I forgot. What did you give it?
3.5.
And you liked it more than Generation?
I did, personally.
I am very interested to hear your take on First Contact and on Insurrection because it's clearly the worst one.
I guess I'm interested too. We'll see if these push me over the fandom.
I have a fun gift for all of us too for that for that episode. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you, Ted, who bought us a bunch of little tiny board cubes.
Desktop board cubes.
Very excited about that.
Please put the batteries in them. I'm telling you, you're gonna like
it. Doesn't look that difficult, Ted. Don't try to put these batteries in tonight. You'll just try to kill yourself. Thank you to Jimmy J for being on the ones and twos. Gigantor, thank you. And there's a new updated catchphrase, I think.
Let's go.
It was 5 to beam up. Oh, that's pretty much it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Last time I tried to add a little thing about 10 forward and getting drunk, but that was just stepping on the shack.
I was fucking hammered.
Although I think Donnie was hammered. I didn't understand what you were going for.
Might have already been.
All right. What is it?